If you love specialty coffee beverages, you know, like lattes, macchiatos, cortados, espresso, or just plain coffee, today we're taking a look at the super premium Jura Giga 6. This thing, it's about as good as it gets. I'm gonna make a bunch of drinks, go through all the features, and what it does, you know, it's special compared to most other machines on the market, what it can do with milk and espresso. We'll talk about how it has 2 grinders, but it also comes stock with Jura's Smart Connect, which allows you to control the machine completely from your smartphone or tablet. So while we get into this, I'm just gonna have it make me a couple lattes. So I've got the app on my phone, so I'm just gonna say, hey Siri, make 2 lattes. Then I'll let you follow along here while it's doing that. So you can see it kind of tracks what's happening on my phone. It's gonna grind some beans here. It's got 2 bean hoppers. We'll talk some more about that in a minute. And it can accommodate 2 really large glasses. You can go even bigger than this, and I'll show you that as well. Another thing it does is it does what's called parallel preparation. So what you're gonna see here is it's putting out milk right now, and here comes the espresso. That's a Jura exclusive found only on a couple of their machines. Also, you've got complete control of this, and we will go through the programming where you can have 2 different types of milk froth in the same drink. Right now it's doing a really super fine milk. You can see the espresso going in. Now I like that little cap of foam. I want to make this drink look really nice. So as we go on here, it's going to switch to more of a airier froth, and it's going to give me a little cap of foam on top of that. I mean, it just looks fantastic. And again, following right along on my phone. And through the app, you can really control all the machine functions. And there you see it switched over, and it's giving me a much airier froth now to cap off the drink. And you've got complete control over programming on this. And look at that. We're almost done here, just finishing up. And there we go. One of the very few machines out there that can do 2 milk-based espresso beverages at the same time. I'm going to take a little drink. Oh yeah, that's really, really nice. I'll move these out of the way so we can get something else in there. I will just show you real quick. Again, you've got some really, if you like those layered latte macchiatos, you've got enough room for a really tall glass so you can do a really impressive presentation. So let's just take a look. I'm going to go kind of side to side across the machine here and talk about what we're using. I do have an accessory here. This does not come with the machine. This is Jura's Cool Control. So this is a countertop refrigerated unit. Keeps your milk cold indefinitely, so you don't have to take milk in or out. Another possible accessory here, they've got this is one that you can take in and out of the fridge. It's a glass milk container, so you'd hook your milk tube up to that. But you know, if you're going with a machine like this, you're really gonna want this. And this thing is just great, this Cool Control. Again, it's refrigerated, keeps your milk below 40 degrees Fahrenheit continuously, stainless steel container inside. It's even got a little thing up top here that tells you when to refill. So it knows how much milk is in there, and a temperature display under the hoodie here as well. I did mention the 2 grinders. So up here, 2 coffee grinders. So what I like to do with this, so this is a whole bean machine. So what I do is I'm gonna put one of my grinders, I'm gonna use regular whole bean coffee on the left-hand side here, and over here I've got some decaf coffee. So I can choose which grinder to use or mix between the grinders whenever I'm making a beverage. So if you want to have a decaf coffee, you want to have decaf beans in one side, or you want to mix 2 different types, no problem. Also on this super premium level of machine, I mean, these things are really nice. It's really nice heavy covers on these with sealing to keep your beans fresh. Also, you know, as we're making the drinks, pay attention to the sound, because this machine is very, very quiet. Then up top here, we have a bypass doser. So if you ever wanted to use pre-ground, you can use a scoop, and you can scoop coffee into here and brew any of the beverages with pre-ground coffee. Now, Jura is also about making their machines super easy to maintain. In this machine, a lot of machines from other manufacturers, you remove the brew unit and you'll wash that occasionally to maintain that. In this, you use that bypass chute, and when the machine tells you, and the machine is going to tell you everything that you need to do to maintain and take care of most of it all for you. So when the machine tells you, use one of these little tablets right here, you drop it in the bypass doser, press a button, and it handles all the cleaning for you, nothing to remove and clean out. Now, it does think I'm going to brew with some decaf coffee, but it's going to realize, you'll see on the screen probably here, that I didn't put any in, so it's telling me that there's not enough. Moving around to the front here, this is, as you can see, a color touchscreen display. So what I've got set up right here, now you don't have to have this on, but what I've got set up is it automatically puts my favorite drinks right on the front screen. So when I go to use the machine, the drinks that I make most often can automatically be here. You don't have to do that. And then we've got more drinks over here. So we've got 2 espresso, 2 coffees, frothed milk, a couple cafe lattes, a single cafe latte, and you can see those. And then if we use, there's a circular dial up here that we can get the carousel up and go into even more drinks. And all of these are completely customizable. I'll talk about programming in a minute. Oh, notice I like this one, this jug of coffee. I mean, I call it a pot of coffee, but this machine can make a large pot of coffee. And it's great, you know, no filters to put in, no ground coffee to deal with. The machine does it all. So let's continue on to the other side here. Here is the water reservoir. You can fill this right at the machine, or you can take that off and take it to the sink and fill it. Let me move these out of the way here. So with this, if you see in there, there's a water filter in here, and this is a smart filter. And I've got one out right here. This has an RFID chip in it, so the machine knows when you're using it. And if you use the water filter as Jura recommends, you never have to descale this machine. That's a Jura exclusive feature, that if you use the water filters, you never have to do any descaling. Descaling, if you don't know, it's a mineral buildup. Whenever you heat water that has some minerals in it, you're going to create some buildup. Use this filter, you don't have to do that. It's also going to give you better tasting coffee because it's going to remove chlorine and any other contaminants in there, so you get a better flavor. And again, it's a smart filter. It has that RFID chip, so the machine knows when you're using it. It'll tell you when it's time to change it, and you don't have to do anything when you change it. Because of that ID chip, the machine knows when you've done that. So I'll put that back on there. We're going to move around front here. I'll get the app out of the way here and show you how this works. So unlike a capsule machine, you know, where you're putting capsules in to make coffees, again, whole beans, so much better in quality. What you end up with, I'm going to pull out the tray here, is just used coffee. And I've made quite a few coffees here. You can see the coffee pucks that come out. They go right into this box. You just empty that box out. It can hold the results of 20 brewing cycles into that box. So, you know, really way more convenient than the capsule machines, because you're not taking something in, putting it out every time, only ever 20 times. Then here, this is the drip tray. So anything that gets by your cup, or if the machine does a rinse, everything ends up in the drip tray. In this, you just take the sink and dump it out. It is actively monitored here. If you see these little tabs, it knows when this is full of water and will tell you when it's time to empty it. And this is kind of new if you're familiar with Jura machines at all. They call this the garage door, so that pops open when you go to empty this. So I'm going to slide this back in. Let's talk some more about brewing. So what I'm going to do is get 2 espressos going. I love these adjustable spouts, so I get way down to my espresso glasses. And any of the coffee beverages, I can do 2 at a time, just like those milk drinks with those 2 spouts. So on the touch screen here, now I could start this from the phone if I wanted to, but I'm going to use a touch screen here, so I'm going to just press 2 espresso. And again, I will go through the programming and just how customizable all these drinks are. But what Jura does when they make an espresso is they use what's called PEP. That's a pulse extraction process. And what you're going to see is a really beautiful espresso. Something else it does. These machines, most all super automatics, well, all super automatics really use thermal block systems. So they have water inside of them. There goes my grinders. And on the Giga 6, what it does is it flushes any old water out of that thermal block and reheats it before it starts the brewing process. Now that PEP, it's going to give you a really nice crema-rich espresso. So you can see that coming out. It's just gorgeous. Tell you, it's going to be better than what you're going to get in all but the highest end specialty cafes. And that's just beautiful. With that PEP process, you get a really nice espresso. Now, when it brews a coffee, it doesn't use the PEP brewing, so you don't want to over extract the coffee. And then it also does some other coffee beverages like an Americano, where internally it can mix hot water with the espresso as it's being made, so you get a true Americano at the touch of a button. I'm going to give this a little taste here. Oh yeah, just delicious. So again, that pep brewing makes a really big difference in the quality of the espresso. Also, you get that water mixing, and you can make 2 coffee beverages or 2 milk beverages at any time. All right, so let's talk about programming this machine. Now, first, I want to show you just what you can do on the app on the phone, and then we'll see how that works on the machine itself. So I'll set this up so you can take a look. And so I want to change my, what was I going to do? I was going to do my flat white. Oh, I mean, look at all the different drinks you have here. And you can create as many in the app as you want, pretty much. So I'm going to go to my flat white. And it's going to send some data back and forth between the machine here. So here are my different parameters that I can do. I can do coffee strength, grinder ratio. So here's, if I wanted, so right now, like I've got the decaf beans in there, I'm going to get like a half calf because it's going to use 50% from both grinders. But you know what? I want to go 100% for my left grinder, which has my real beans in there. So I'm just going to slide that over. Amount of water, that's the amount of coffee that's going to be used. And then temperature here, I've got it set to high. I like high, so I'm going to stay there. Amount of milk foam, I've got 4 seconds, and then I can do amount of milk, and I've got 14 seconds. So it uses timing for milk because different milks are going to produce different amounts of froth. So it's the best way to do that, but I can change those. And then you can see I've also got a handle on the temperatures of both the milk foam and just the regular milk. And that's, I'm going to adjust that here so that goes up in 10 steps. So you can have 10 different temperatures, and you can adjust it separately for the milk and milk foam. And again, the Giga 6 here and a couple other Jura machines are the only ones that can do 2 different types of milk in the same drink without you doing anything. But let's go up. We'll take a look now at how that works on the screen. It's pretty much the same deal. So we'll go in here and to program a beverage. So I can pick any beverage I want here. Again, I've got my favorites kind of automatically populating here. But let's take a look. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to take a look at the, because I've got one set up here as decaf coffee. So let's go in here. We just press and hold that. Now, if I just pressed it quick, it would brew the beverage. But now I get into here with the product settings. So you can do, so we can go in, we'll program here in the product settings. We can change the name of the product. So like this one I did custom and called it decaf coffee. I can replace that product on the screen, copy it, or make a double of it. And it'll just take the settings I have for a single and make it a double. But let's go into those product settings here. So here, I can use the dial up top to change my volume. So, and this you can do in ounces or milliliters. You can see I've got this coming totally from the right grinder here. So if I wanted to change that, I could just slide down on the touch screen here. And now I'm totally from the left grinder, but I want all the decaf beans over on my right-hand side, so I'll make that 100%, but you can go half and half, 25, 75. Then I've got my coffee strength here. And again, I can use a touch screen or the dial here, and I've got 10 strength settings. One thing about the Jura machines I haven't mentioned, they use some of the largest coffee dosing. So if you like it really strong, up to 16 grams per brew cycle. We'll go down here. So we already did a little bit of the volume, and then we've got the temperature down here. Again, I can do it on the screen. I got low, normal, and high. I like it hot. Once I'm good with that, I'll just save that. And we're good to go. And then to get back out of here, just back. And now we're back to where we were. And now all those settings that I've changed on my decaf are going to be right there and ready to go. So if you like the occasional decaf, if you have a regular coffee drinker and a decaf coffee drinker, really easy with those 2 grinders to set that up on this machine. The Giga 6 really can make a lot of specialty coffee drinks, but sometimes, you know, you just want a pot of coffee, and the Giga 6 with a couple other Jura machines, it's the only machine out there that can do this. So I'm going to take my not real lovely coffee pot here, get something better than that. It will go up to the menu here. I'm just going to start the carousel. Again, look at, you know, here's just some of the drinks that you can make here. But I'm going to turn the dial up here so we get in, and my jug of coffee is right there. I'm just going to go through and show you. So you can get, you know, hot water for different teas that are at the right temperature. 2 Americanos. And again, you can shuffle these around. Macchiatos, cortados, which are becoming really, really popular. Flat whites, just froth milk if you want, but I'm going to go back around to the jug of coffee, and I, again, might rename that to pot of coffee. I could even put how much coffee I'm making there, and then just press the button. So I'm just having this machine do 3 cycles to make me about 18 ounces. Now this can do up to 80 ounces of coffee at a time. You've got full control of all the parameters. You don't have to deal with filters or ground coffee. And it's, again, the coffee is gonna be so much better because it's coming from freshly ground whole beans, and you can set it up to do, a decaf pot or a regular pot, and you can have those all available on the machine and ready to go. Super simple. So I'm just going to give that a taste. Again, I can brew up to 80 ounces at a time on this and can set it up, and it's going to be a really, really fine coffee, much better than you're going to get from pre-ground coffee. Oh yeah, that's rich and hot and delicious. I want to show you a cappuccino, and we're going to take a look at the programming of this one. And when I make the cappuccino, I want you to notice how it's a little bit different than the latte we did last time as far as the milk preparation. So I'm back in programming here. I'm going fully from my left side grinder, which has my fully caffeinated beans in there. That's what I want. For coffee strength, I'm going with full strength. I'm going to use 17 seconds of milk foam. And as we go up here, my volume, 2.5 ounces. I like mine hot, so I'm going to go with that. And I'm going to save that. Notice I called this Mark's Kappa here again. If I wanted to change that name, I can do that, and that's what I did a little earlier. So I'll just go back. I'm going to place my glass here, and I'll bring my spouts down just a little bit. And here's my Kappa. So I'll just press, and it's going to do its thing. So again, we're going to use Pep Brewing on the espresso, so it's grinding all from my left-hand grinder, because I got those decaf beans in there, and I want the caffeine right now. So it's going to do my milk first. Now, before when we were doing the latte, it did that parallel preparation where it did the espresso and milk at the same time. Also with this drink, it's just the one style, the airier froth, because that's what a cappuccino really is a much airier froth than typically what you get in a latte. So it's going to do that. And then my espresso is going to come next over top of that. And again, Pep Brewing on the espresso. And we're going to get a really nice traditional cappuccino here. But the thing is, you can go in and change that programming around if you want more or less coffee, if you want to make a half caffeinated, if you got the decaffeinated beans in one of the grinders, you can do that. Or if you've got a couple of coffees that you want to mix together, you can do that as well. And you can see it's starting to spread, and we're getting that traditional cap of foam over the top. As that sits for a moment, it's just going to do a lovely presentation with that nice layering in between the espresso and the milk froth. And I'm going to get a little taste of that. Absolutely delicious. So let's just recap the Giga 6 here. Again, this is a super premium level espresso machine. If you really want to do some high-end entertaining at home, or maybe a small office, boardroom, that kind of thing, this is a great machine for that. Over here, I did have the Jura Cool control. This keeps your milk ready to go, cold on the counter. Again, this machine has the 2 grinders, so if you want to mix different coffee types together, or you can do, decaf and caffeinated beans. You have the bypass doser. I don't think people use that all that much, especially when you can put those decaf beans right in here if you want that. You have the large water capacities, really easy maintenance. The J.O.E app with the Connect. I mean, just being able to say, hey Siri, make me a latte, that's really, really cool. Again, 20 puck capacity, 20 brew cycles, and just, as many different sorts of drinks as you could possibly think of on the machine here. You can do even more customization through the app on your phone. You can even take orders on your phone. So if you got a bunch of people sitting around and you say, well, I want an Americano, then a latte, then a cortado, you can put those all in order and it'll just brew them right in order for you. So that's the Jura Giga 6. It's a super premium automatic coffee machine. It's available now at Whole Latte Love. If you have any questions about this one or anything coffee, use the comments and I'd be more than happy to get you some answers. I'm Mark from Whole Latte Love. Thanks for watching. I hope you'll subscribe and come on back soon for more of the best on everything coffee. Want to learn more? Subscribe now so you'll know about the latest videos on everything coffee from Whole Latte Love.